guys, how are you today? So, we went to the Caribbean. We went to Puerto Rico, we went to Dominican Republic, we went to St. Thomas and a beautiful island a few weeks ago. And we took a couple cooking classes. During our cooking classes, we had two versions pretty much of the same thing, using two different vehicles. And it's called Mofongo. And I know you saw a reel, if you watch my videos, you saw a reel on it. And today, we are going to experiment. So this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm not sure. And we are going to try to put it together for you and have you right live with this. So I am going to use plantains. And the plantains that I use a little bit later in the video need to be not totally gushy. They need to have some firmness. We're going to fry these, and I know that a lot of you guys don't like the frying. There's another way to make this, and you can use cassava melon with pork rinds, but you got pork rinds in it. But you can do that, and it's like a mashed potato, and you put this. Now, mofongo basically is a stew, and I researched it after we came back. And there's a beef mofongo, which was the one we have with cassava melon. And then there's a shrimp mofongo. This is going to be a chicken mofongo. That's the one we had in Dominican Republic. In Puerto Rico, we had the beef was served with the cassava. This is so delicious, and we were just in shock. I'll have to split the video in different pieces because I can't fry and everything at one time. So we'll do that, but I want to get started. I've got two chicken breasts, and I've chopped them up, and you're going to see they're pretty fine because this is going to go into the mofongo shell. I am going to cook that chicken, and I've got my pan already heated. I'm going to use olive oil in here. So we've got some olive oil going there. Gotta be careful so I don't melt my bottle. So let's go ahead and put this in here. And what we want to do is get a little bit of color on it, and of course, get the rawness out. In my other pan, I am going to turn the heat down a little bit on this. There we go. In my other pan, it's heated, and I am going to use regular oil, vegetable oil. So we're going to put that in here. And for this, and I'm going to also turn this down a little bit, I've already chopped onion, I've chopped bell pepper, I've chopped some jalapeno, cilantro, garlic, I've got cumin, and I've got tomato paste. When the young man was giving us this recipe, he just goes, oh, you put a little bit of this in, a little bit of that. And so I looked all over the internet to try to find a facsimile similar to what he mentioned. And it was just like, okay, we're gonna just go for it. We're gonna wing it. So I'm gonna cook my onion down a little bit. With my onion, I'm using red onion, and I wanna make sure it's not too large. So I didn't chop it really, really finely, but I did chop it really, really finely. So I want to get that softened a little bit before I put the peppers in. Now I'm using half of a green bell pepper, and I'm using half of a jalapeno, and this is two chicken breasts over here. I'm going to turn that back up a little bit. There we go. Smells good already. Love the smell of this stuff. It was wonderful because we had a room full of people and we were all cooking together. And it was a lot of fun. Mark got some plantains and he just got so involved in it. He looked good in his little outfit too. He wound up, his plantains were a little overcooked, so they gave him another set of plantains to go for. So anyway, but you'll see that a little bit later on in the video. Now, I just want it softened a tiny bit. We're going to come in with the jalapeno, and always remember when you work with jalapenos, you must be careful and wash your hands and not put your hands in to take out your contact lenses. Always make sure that your hands are clean or wear gloves And really, that's the best way to go. Wear gloves when you fool with them, because your eyes will kill you and your skin will burn if you work with them. I made some honey jalapeno dressing the other day for several people, and I brought over the bottles to them, and I came home and my hands were just tingling. I'm going to turn this back up a little bit to get it going. When the young man gave me the recipe, he said, you're going to use tomatoes. You're going to use tomato paste. So, like I said, this is going to be an experiment. Last night, we went to the Bova's house, and you know the Bovas are wonderful. She is a phenomenal cook, and of course her husband loves to get right in the mix of things. And they made a porchetta. And if you're not familiar with that, it's pork, a tenderloin wrapped in a pork belly. And she got the pork belly at Ainsworth Meat with the skin on. And so what happened, after they smoked it for I think 4 hours and then put it in the oven, and then she covered it in the steam from the pork, popped the crust, and it made it like pork rinds. It was so crunchy, it was delicious. And she served that with a special aioli. It was just absolutely wonderful. So anyway, in fact, our neighbors got some of them too because the sandwiches were so good. We had so many left. So right now the onion is nice, softened up. In fact, some of it's even getting a little color on it. And I can smell the pepper. We're gonna go ahead and add some garlic at this point in time. Remember, we always add the garlic a little bit later. And I usually like cumin, the seed, but I'm going to add cumin powder today. And the reason why I'm doing this is because that's how the young man told us to do. This is going to be, I'm going to try a half a can of tomato paste, maybe a little bit more depending on how it looks. So it's going to be thick. It's going to be more stewy than anything else. So we want to make sure we have enough of a liquid mixture. We're going to let this cook in here. Remember, we always want to add the layers of flavor. There we go. I think we may wind up adding a little bit more tomato paste. Let's go ahead and add another tablespoon of that. Let this cook a little bit. They're starting to be a little sticking to the bottom, and that's okay. And this is looking good. I'm not going to salt the chicken right now because we'll put salt in the sauce. Same with pepper. So the chicken is just being cooked right now. I've got a little bit of color on the chicken. I am using all-clad pans. I find they're just wonderful for heat transfer. If I'm making a stew or a gumbo or anything like that, I really like my Le Creuset. But for this, we're good to go in the all-clad. All right, we got some stickiness there. That's perfect. We're going to go ahead and add chicken stock. I have about a cup of chicken stock here. We may need more, so if that's the case, I'll get some more out. Beautiful. You want to make sure that chicken stock is all incorporated into that tomato paste. Okay. Just good paste. Okay. So it's a little too tomatoey, so we're going to work on this. Go ahead and add some cumin, and that's about a tablespoon. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of water to this. So I think I'm going to put in a cup of water. I told you we're going to practice here. Okay. Aha, I remember. The thing that he mentioned was sugar. So let me get some sugar. about a tablespoon of sugar and see how this goes. Get several tasting spoons. You're never supposed to taste with the same spoon. Getting close. Getting close. We're going to add a little bit of chili powder. Just a tiny bit. There we go. We're going to turn the heat down. There we go. We're going to go ahead and add cilantro. Now, I'm a big fan of not wasting. I use the stems of the cilantro. Same thing with the stems of parsley. So, you know, they're full of flavor. Why waste it? Now, if you're doing something that needs to be refined, yeah, you know, toss them or save them and use them in something else. But don't waste that good stuff. All right. Give this a little taste. Pretty good. The flavor is very intense. It's already got a lot of heat from the jalapeno. You can put some black pepper in there. I don't think we're going to do that tonight. I think it's going to need a little bit more salt though. So I'm going to use sea salt. And I'm going to add a little bit more water. So I've added 1/4 of a cup of water so far. I'm going to add another, maybe 1/2 cup. Mix that in, and let me grab my sea salt. Hit that up with a little sea salt, maybe a little bit more because the chicken's not salted. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so the consistency, see that? We're going to let it cook down a little bit, but we're going to add the chicken here because I want the chicken juices and whatever's happening in here to become infused into this sauce. So let's put this over here. Toss this chicken around a little bit more. Oh yeah, it's almost there. We've got some color on some of this chicken, not all of it. But the chicken pieces, as you can see, they're about that size. That way they'll fit into these little cups. When we do the plantains are going to be soft. We're only going to cut little pieces about like that. We press them in a juicer and they make the little cups. Then you fry them. And they're wonderful. Now, I think you could probably bake them also. And that would be a healthier option. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to fry them. But like I said, you can take your air fryer. I love my little Cuisinart air fryer. You can take your air fryer and probably bake them. I haven't done that, but you can probably try it. I would spray them with a little olive oil. That's how I do my French fries. I always spray them with a little olive oil and then turn them over and spray them again. And it really causes crispiness. If you haven't done air fried chicken before, we'll do another recipe another day. But this thing really does great air fryer chicken. Okay, we're getting pretty close. All right, one more test on the sauce. Yum. That little sugar, that little bit of sugar was perfect. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. And I think we're going to go ahead and put the chicken in right now. There we go. Now there's a lot of goodness in this pan, and we're not going to waste that either. So I'm going to put a little water in here. And we are going to make sure that we get that fond, that goodness, that cooking goodness that's left in that pan. So we never want to waste anything. So I went to H-E-B the other day and had some gorgeous shrimp head on. I know a lot of people, oh man, we don't feel like dealing with that. Well, guess what? I take the heads and the shells and I boil them to make stock. It makes the best shrimp stew and the best gumbo. So, you know, if you're wasting this stuff, it is a travesty. You need to make sure that you use it, especially in today's times. So we've got the fond from this. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. It's probably about a third of a cup of fond and juice. So put that in there. It also helps you clean the pan. Anytime you use warmth, it will help clean the pan. And we're just gonna go ahead and let this simmer for a little bit. Then we're gonna cover it and let it sit while we do the other stuff. So, can you see it? It looks great. For the garnish, you're going to have shredded cheddar cheese, and you're going to need some more cilantro, so we've got that on the side. And you can have a dollop of sour cream too if you want it, but I don't think you're gonna need it. Anyway, we're gonna let this simmer a little bit, then we'll cover it. One more taste. Let's do a lot of teaspoons doing this. Spot on. This is gonna be really good. We want the sauce to thicken up a little bit, and I think we'll be good to go with this mofongo. All right, catch you later. Okay, we're back now to work on the plantains. This simmered for about 10 minutes on low, and it's pretty much ready to go. So we've got it here. I have 2 nice-sized plantains. They have been sitting on the counter for about a week now because I went to the market, the Mexican market, and got these. They are very firm, quite different from bananas, so don't think you can do this with bananas. They were hard to peel. We had to work at doing that. I'm going to cut one in half, and then cut it again in half. So I've got 4 pieces. So each banana will give me 4 pieces. So that means I'll have a total of 8 since I have, sorry, not banana, plantain. This means I'll have 8 total. And since these are going to be small, I'm going to show you how small they're going to be. I have basically one of these little things to squeeze lemons, squeeze limes. This is how we're going to do it. I have hot oil here. I'm going to keep my oil going a little bit. The thing that we had to be careful with at cooking class was we didn't want to get the plantain too brown. So we've got to be very careful with that. What we want to do is soften it up. And as I said, it is definitely firm. So our oil should be about ready. That was the hand test. Let me go ahead and see what we've got with our thermometer here. Thermometers always provide the best accuracy. You know, you can go, oh yeah, it's good. But really, when you're cooking meat on the grill or when you're doing candy or anything like that, when you have to have a very precise temperature, it is much better to use a thermometer, whether it's a thermometer for oil, liquid, candy, or whether it's a thermometer for meat. Make sure you have one because you really, you know, in cooking school, they taught us how to gauge like this. Well, it's not always that way, so just know that it's always good to have a thermometer. Okay, we're almost there. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these and drop them in. Anytime you drop a room temperature or cool piece of meat, vegetable, whatever, into hot oil, it's going to lower the temperature, so you need a quick drop. And then it'll come back up to temperature. So let's go ahead and start putting them in just like this. Get that going. Like I said, this is sort of an experiment because He didn't give us, in the Dominican Republic, he did not give us the exact recipe. Now in Puerto Rico, we did get the exact recipe. So I may post that on my food blog. I don't like to take someone's recipe and post it because of plagiarism. Usually I like to do my own recipes or modify a recipe we like. So we've got this going here. I'm going to go ahead and shut the video off. It'll probably take about 3 to 4 minutes to get these done, and then we'll come back. Okay, we are at 4 minutes, and we're going to take these out right now. You can see a little bit of color, and we're going to put them on some paper towel to drain. I don't want to have too much color there. I don't want to burn them. So you can tell by the texture, they've softened up. They're a beautiful golden color. Plantains, when I peel them, I saw this really nice golden color, really, really pretty. I'm going to turn off the fire here, and we're going to come back because what we want to do is let these cool so I can handle them. Okay, we're back, and these are all nice and cooled off so I can handle them. And I just made the first cut. And they're not perfect, they're not going to be perfect. If you look up on the internet, none of the pictures are just exactly perfect. But anyway, you take this, you take your plantain, you put it right in there and you squeeze it. Try to get it right in the center. And it'll come up the side, that's fine. And then what'll happen is you try to make sure you get all of it out. And as I said, it's not going to be perfect, but they make little cups just like this. Yep. Now it's still steaming. I don't know if you can see the steam off of that. So we're going to do all 8 of these. Okay. Get this here. It. There we go. And carefully remove them. So we're going to start adding them into the hot oil. And dip them in just like that. While we continue on doing this. So beautiful smell in here. It's got it does sort of smell like bananas, but it also smells like the filling that we're going to put in that we made earlier. And so I'll have to repeat that filling. Okay. We'll put 4 of them in. And this is going to be pretty fast. They only took 4 minutes on the first fry, so I'm sure it's only going to take about that much on the second fry. Okay. As I said, I think that you probably do these in the air fryer also. Okay. And you can tell when they're done when they get sort of crunchy, crispy. So we're still got a little bit of time, probably another 3 or 4 minutes. I'll go ahead and turn the video off, and that way you'll come back and you can see it. Hi, we're back. So we wanted them to be brown, and we wanted them to be firm, so and make little cups. So it has taken approximately 6 to 7 minutes to get to that point. And let me show you what we've got coming out. Okay? You see that? See that little cut? Now, they're not all perfect. And what we've done is I decided to try 1 of them, or 2 of them in the air fryer. So I've got 2 cooking on bake at 350 degrees in the air fryer. It's going to take, I think it'll take a little bit longer. So these are coming out. And because of the plantain and how soft it was, we have some that are malformed. So I would suggest if you do this recipe that you make sure you do some extras in case you need enough for 8 people, or how many of you are serving. I would also suggest probably 2 to 3 per person. And be sure to drain them because they do absorb the grease. Okay, we'll get that out. And then I will show you a little bit later how to put it all together. Alright?